All right. Hello, everyone. First, I want to thank ANFF for putting on such a great event. It's really awesome to see some of the other R&D work that's being done around Australia at the moment. The ecosystem that's being created around Australia is really exciting, and it's just going to get more easier and easier to do the successful deep tech developments that we've been hearing about today. So my name is Zack Artist. I'm a senior biomedical engineer at Inventure Life Science and the technical lead of LIGO. And I'm going to speak a bit today about Inventure, the technology that we're developing, and about how we're applying that tech to the clinical challenge of wound healing in partnership with TriCEP, which, as Pia mentioned, is a collaboration between University of Wollongong and ANFF, as well as many other collaborators around Australia. So Inventure is a startup based in Sydney that was started in 2013 by our founders who had a dream of building a company around game-changing bioprinting technology. And since then, Inventure has been backed by the best VCs in Australia, including Blackbird, Skip Capital, Main Sequence, and Airtree, just to name a few of our awesome supporters. And with that support, we've grown our team to include 50 passionate engineers, biologists, and material scientists who are working to develop and commercialize our core tech. The core technology stack that the team is working on includes drop-on-demand bioprinting systems, printable matrix materials, and tissue-relevant structures. And the foundation of this technology was the outcome of an incredibly productive collaboration between Justin Gooding at UNSW, Maria Cavallaris at the Children's Cancer Institute, and Inventure. This technology has been successfully commercialized in the Rastrum platform, which has recently received the Eureka Prize and is currently being used by our customers in top 20 pharma and leading Australian medical research institutes. At Inventure, our mission is to collaborate with our partners and customers to enable the creation of human tissue at scale in order to improve health. And this will have an impact across three really important horizons. Firstly, in disease research. We've got incredibly smart scientists around the world fighting cancer and other diseases, but they're stuck with old tools like growing cells on plastic that don't give them the insights that they need. So we're enabling better research in 3D tissue models that mimic human biology. The second area is drug discovery, where the way that new life-saving drugs are developed is still really inefficient, and all because the vast majority of drugs that look great in the lab end up failing in people. And we're changing that paradigm by enabling more predictive testing that's done in human tissue outside of humans. Our current customers are using Rastrum to impact health across both these areas now. The third area is clinical regeneration, where today, if God forbid you were to suffer a major injury to an organ or an organ failure, now there are very few options of restoring tissue to its fully functional state. But we see a future where a patient's own cells can be used to fully regenerate functional tissues and organs. This has been the promise of bioprinting, which has taken longer to arrive than most expected due to significant technical and regulatory challenges. However, this is now within reach for simple tissues, including skin, due to the strong foundation of technical knowledge that's been built in research and discovery. There were many reasons that we decided that skin regeneration would be the first clinical application that we chose to address. The relative simplicity of the organ and the accessibility impacted our decision, but the most important motivators for us were the shortcomings of current technologies on the market, particularly when it comes to full thickness wounds. We saw this as an opportunity to do better for patients and clinicians by applying our technology to the challenge of wound healing. By leveraging the technology that was validated by Rastrum for skin regeneration, we were able to utilize solutions for many technical challenges that have been previously addressed by the team. This accelerated our development timeline and is enabling us to get our technology into the hands of clinicians sooner. To enable the use of our clinical bioprinting platform for skin regeneration, which we're calling LIGO, we needed to incorporate the technology into existing clinical workflows. This all starts with the cell source. Currently, we're using RECELL, which creates an autologous source of skin cells at the point of care and is an FDA and TGA approved product. But we envision that autologous or any autologous or allogenic cell source could be used with the platform. The harvested cells are then mixed with an optimized matrix at the bedside and precisely delivered to the wound site using LIGO to trigger tissue-guided regeneration. Although the mission for printing skin to regenerate wounds was discussed at the first meeting of our founders in 2013, we're just at the beginning of this journey. We created the first proof of concept in 2019, which was delivered to Professor Fiona Wood and her facilities in Perth later that year. Then in early 2020, we completed our first in vivo experiment with LIGO, and then we were awarded the BMTH grant, which enabled us to bolster the team around LIGO and formalize partnerships with our collaborators, which included Fiona Wood and her team at University of Western Australia, as well as Gordon Wallace and his team at Tricep. Now we're accelerating the technology development and experimentation towards our goal of first in human trials in late 2022. One of the most important areas of technology development that we're progressing currently for LIGO is the translation of our biomaterials to this clinical application, which involves, among other things, packaging, sterilization, and formulation development. This translation requires a breadth of knowledge and infrastructure investment that isn't possible for most startups. And while there are at-scale manufacturing suppliers that provide some of these services, most are not willing to engage with small R&D projects. This is a significant difficulty for those undertaking biomaterial development for clinical applications and a genuine gap in the market that Tricep is addressing. By leveraging the unique combination of infrastructure and talents of the people at Tricep, we're able to tackle some of the biggest challenges for LIGO together. We're confident that LIGO will be in 5 years where Rastrum is now, and that's because of the incredible team that's collaborating on the platform. We truly believe that we've assembled a group of Australia's best from academia, industry, and health, and this is the team that will get LIGO to market. The team's only able to do their best work on the platform because the ecosystem exists to support it through great government programs like ANFF in combination with the private sector. So I want to take another opportunity to give a big thank you to ANFF for all that you do to enable our team and others like it around the country to come together to do great R&D. This is my last slide. So thanks everyone who stuck around right to the end of the conference. I appreciate your attention. I think there's time for a few questions if there are any.
Thank you, Zach. That was absolutely fascinating. I am waiting to see if there are some questions. If not, I shall have to make one up. Looks like I'll have to actually ask that question then. I'm fascinated. You've actually shown that there is an actual ecosystem of support out there and that you have been able to access it to really accelerate the commercialisation of your product development. If for anyone who's from industry observing this, what would your tips be to them on how to engage and find organisations such as ANFF or Cicada or other people that could be of assistance with that?
Well, I think that it's as simple as it sounds. It starts with, I guess, your network. So it's coming to events like these and networking with people, and the organisations are out there. You just simply have to find them, and putting yourself in the mix is the way to do that.
Thank you very much. Well, Zach, you're off the hook. There is nobody else who's wishing to ask a question. So thank you very much for taking the time to share your insights with them. I really enjoyed it, which actually brings this section of Establishing Industries on day 2, The Living World, to an end. Thank you all very much for coming along and listening to us on this journey. I'll give one final plug before I'll hand over to Jane, our CEO, who will conclude proceedings. As I mentioned yesterday, we have 3 amazing roles that have just been advertised for client liaison officers. So if you know anyone who would like to help someone come to the next showcase next year because of the amazing work that they've undertaken with us to change the world, please let them know that these positions exist. We'd love to meet and talk to some clever people who want to be that bridge between what we do and those who want to change the world. So thank you very much. I'll now hand over to our amazing CEO, Jane, who will conclude proceedings. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be your MC this afternoon.